Thanks for listening, liking, and subscribing to my channel. Appreciate you. The lies being told here are explicitly due to Tiffany Henyard and her complete narcissism. Please be aware that I just wanted you guys to see the lies and the manipulation that she really does show. Please listen.
Host Cleopatra Draper of the Midday Show and live in studio as promised, y'all. Like she really here. Like she is in the building. You know her as the Superman. What your mama call you? Your mama call you Tiffany?
Yep, Tiff, Tiff.
All right, Tiff Tiff. Also known as Mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard. And I promised her, I just wanted her to listen for a second because I need to build this up. So for all of you all are tuning in, especially all 20,000 residents of Dalton that's finna call, minus Dalton, she's over a township, right? So I'm gonna list them. You got Blue Island, Burnham, Calumet City, Dixmoor, Dalton, East Hazelcrest, Glenwood, Harvey, Hazelcrest, Homewood, Lansing, Markham, Phoenix, Posen, Riverdale, South Holland, and Thornton. And then she has 10 unincorporated towns. So what made her super is that she a boss, right? So I'm gonna preface it that way. But I also want to build back to how she became. And you can't become until you look at the history from whence we came. So the teacher in me is going to walk us through some history. And I want you all to follow me because I'm going to say 2 words, one name, Frank Zuccarelli. Now, if anybody knows anything about Zuccarelli, aka the Z Team, you know that there is an elongated history, so much so that it is ingrained in just some historical measures. So from the city of Chicago, we have our very own, now formerly Alderman Ed Burke, who served 54 years, long-term committeeman, right? So then when we look to the Southland, undeniably they had Frank Zuccarelli. And I was talking about some history. So when we talk about just multiple roles and the political sphere, you can't help but to identify Zuccarelli. You could look at Mike Madigan. You could look at Ed Burke. What do they all have in common? They're Caucasian male, right? And they had powerhouses across the state of Illinois. So Zuccarelli, the township of Thornton collectively is about 158,000. Let's round up. Give or take, folk be moving. But when you think about just time served, 43 years, he served as both trustee, and 34 of those were the chairman of South Suburban College. And in fact, another 2 years as student trustee. That's a long time. Most y'all don't stay on jobs more than 5 years. So with that being said, we got 40 plus years in service at one institution that is a staple in the Southland. So then we will look at committeemen. He served 2+ decades, right? So committeeman of Thornton. And then when we look at Thornton Township Supervisor, that came in 1993. So all of this ended in his sudden death in 2022. So under that township leadership, he had 170 full-time, some part-time roles. And even in the papers, they referred to him as the boss. So a concoction of a few mixtures. Now, that's a lot of folks that had immense love for Frank Zuccarelli. And it's not to be smudged, right? Some of the papers that I read through the years also referred to him as a boss, king of patronage, favors, the deficit of Thornton, the mismanagement, the splurges. One trip he took to South Carolina, he spent $46,000, right? Talking about I'm going to go see and assess, after the shooting, how they are coping and managing in terms of the community because he wanted to emulate it, right? So I picked up on all of that to say that there's a behavioral pattern that's undeniable out of many of the townships and regions where we had long-term service, right? Especially when we look at white patronage. And then, when we looked at salary, and I'm building this up because it was so many correlations to current time of just some of the same problems. Zuccarelli was the highest paid Illinois elected official. Now, when we look at this from a country perspective, he was the highest paid, second to one of the governors across the country, all from Thornton Township, right? So when I say I'm gonna break this down, I want y'all to understand both committeeman salary, which is not published, right? Because you can earn a salary outside of wherever you do your thing, as long as you are organizing for the party. You have chairman of the board of trustees at South Suburban College for 34 years, and then you had Thornton Township supervisor. So I'm counting 3 bags right there. Last but not least, right? When we talk about, his untimely death, it shook the Southland because the calculus hadn't been put to play, and it was a 60-day count. And on that 59th day, 10 minutes before it was time, some would say a star was born. Some would say this young lady hit the lottery. And some would say it was the luck of the draw. But it was out of 8 people that selected Mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, to serve and be the successor after Frank Zuccarelli. Like I said, she's in the studio now. When we come back, we're going to hear from the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
Man who lived in Turks and Caicos was the murder.
On TV.
And we are back. The time is 9:34. And yeah, she's feeling good as hell. I got the super mayor in the studio, y'all. That's right. Mayor Tiffany Henyard. And I want to talk about you. Okay. What we were saying, it was a show in between the show. And undeniably, I think through all the noise, it gets lost in the sauce of why you so damn important and what you over there doing. So who are you?
So just to give you a little background of me, I grew up in the village of Dalton, and that's why I go so hard for Dalton, right? Basically, my mom and them came in about 85, 87 or so, and I went to every school, Berger Vandenberg, Thornridge, Dirksen, Robert Morris University, and here I am now. When I ran for office in 2013, I became the first youngest person.
Pause, because you skipping over something vital.
Okay.
What super mayor sometimes forget, because she been serving for a while, is that she's an entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
So before you even decided to run, you were in these streets serving up that good burger.
That's
Talk
right.
to me about the entrepreneurial side of your brain, because you didn't just get here haphazardly. There has to be some calculus in the tea leaves that make you smart, as the young folks would say.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that, because you glossed past that.
Okay, definitely. I'll back up. Thank you for catching that. So when I was in school, I was always an entrepreneur. I used to sell bag candy when it was $1. You buy your chews, your fruities, and I'll sell it to all my classmates. So that's what kind of started my entrepreneur spirit. After that, when I went to college, I went to night school. I don't like getting up early in the morning. I'm not a day person at all. So when I went to night school, we didn't have anywhere to go to get food but the vending machines. So I then went home and I used to make meals. So I did a hamburger helper, things like that, cakes and cookies, and I sold it out of a duffel bag in school. I used to bring home $300-$400 a day. And then I hired my classmates. I started getting employees. I started a whole business literally in business school. So from there, I then bought a building in Calumet City, and I created Good Burger. I had Good Burger for 20 years, and I sold hand-packed turkey and beef burgers, and then hand-cut fries. From there, I went after contracts. I went into Perry State College. I went into South Suburban College. I always been a hustler. And that's why y'all can't break me, and I will never give up, because I know how it feels to hustle all day to make whatever the goal is to bring home, and that's why you see my grind the way it is today.
And we're gonna pull back all those layers, but
Definitely.
For those that knew, because you identified Tiffany from the block,
Yes,
I always try to connect it to the business side of, your boss attributes, because, I think you're a different breed. Everybody would agree to that, right?
Yes.
And it got to be something that is rooted, that drives you. And it's not any of these titles.
Definitely.
You are a mother.
Yes.
And I want folks to understand what that means for you, right? So you are a mother, you are a Black woman, and you go hard for Dalton.
Yes.
But as a mother, why?
Why? Because I want my daughter to have the same opportunities that I'm trying to get for every other Black girl or a kid or woman in America. Right now, it's the hardest thing for a woman to be empowered. When a woman's in leadership role, they feel we're stupid. They feel we don't know anything, and they feel that we can be bought, and we're not. We do not want to stick with the status quo. We want people to be right in government. Everybody that's in government is not bad, is not corrupt. And I am living proof of that. But yet they painted me as this bad person or corruption or thief. I'm none of those. I am fighting against the people that are. But people have to hear my story to understand where I am and where I come from and why I continue to fight and stand in the fire for them. Next month, we have Black History Month. Why we got the shortest month of the year? Why? Why is it only that month we talk about the Black leaders or the people that have uplifted us as we grow? Because we all have mentors of people we look up to. Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks. And I tell everybody, I am her. I am Rosa Parks. The difference between back then and now is I'm living the same dream as her. What did she what did she not want to do? Give up her seat, right? She would not give up her seat. What am I doing today? Not giving up my seat.
And we're going to talk about that, because you made a hell of a correlation in terms of what's at stake. And as I walk us through the series, because you like a whole book.
Yeah.
It's a series of collections that, for real, when we look in hindsight, one day, God is going to bless us to live to grow old. And if not, live to tell the stories through others. And it's a series. And it's a lot of you that I want folks to take away as we pull back these layers, because we're going to get into the weeds, guys. Like, ultimately, she's alluding to a few things: the seed, the fire, the brimstone, right? So, and yes, she's still standing. And the question is why? When you think about the village of Dalton, 8-mile radius, right? About nearly 22,000 residents. That little spot on the map, is it that important? Or is the bigger picture, the supervisor picture, critical? And if so, why? So when we look at Thornton Township, you would agree is the second most powerful township in the state. And what makes it powerful is that it delivers the votes. Let's be clear.
Correct.
Right? Yes, the vast majority is reflective, let's say about 60-40 in terms of white and Black. But when you think about the village of Dalton, it's predominantly Black, but both of whom have historically been in some deficits or mismanagement or poor leadership, and it's continued. So that's undeniable. Now everybody's probably asking, well, what's her role in it? Where was she? We gonna get to that, right? But first, I want to jog your memories to the mayoral leaders that came before you. Bill Shaw comes to mind.
Yes.
The Shaw brothers.
Yes.
If you didn't see one, you saw the other,
The
right?
twins.
From 97 to 2008. That's undeniable. So you had some decent leadership, but then you decided to run for trustee.
Yes.
What made you run?
Well, again, I always been a leader. So I took on the role of Black Club president. So on my block, I always try to get the neighbors engaged, make sure you know your neighbor. When we went to school and got out, sometimes we go to the neighbor house. And that's the thing that I wanted to bring back. Basically unity amongst community and us building one another. So when my parents went home, we'll go to neighbor's house, they'll feed us, they help us with our homework, things of that nature. So the issue was over a tree. It's that simple. It was over a tree. We wanted a tree cut on the block, but it wasn't on our property. It was on someone else's property. I went to a board meeting and I asked them, hey guys, we have a tree. It's messing up the plumbing. It's leaning over in the street where we dance and do our routines at. Can you please come and cut it down? And basically when I went, they flickered me off. They said, I'll sit down. What you talking about, little girl? Because I was young. I was a teenager at the time. And from there, it got me interested in government because I didn't know who ran our city. I didn't know what that looked like. And when I saw it was just all older people, no youth, nobody that can actually be our voice and understand what we want, I ran for office. Now, don't get me wrong. That kicked me off the ballot when I first ran. I didn't know the game, didn't know nothing. I was so young, wet behind the ears, didn't know nothing. So then after that, later,
I was looking for that too, right? There's never any history. So y'all getting some real exclusive.
Yeah.
When you knocked off the ballot, this is though you ain't never ran.
Right.
I've been kicked off the ballot too. So you got knocked off the ballot, but you got back up.
I did. Dust yourself off, try again, as Aaliyah say. Yes.
Okay. So tell me, so when I think of you and you fill in the blanks, you think of Zuccarelli, I think of the Z team, right? Now the boss had the Z team. Were you a part of that apparatus, or did you become ingratiated?
Well,
did they find you once you got knocked off the ballot?
Well, they did, but I never joined like per se the Z team. I was a part of it, but from afar, because I just can't go with status quo. I'm my own person. So I've always helped when they call for us to go get signatures, things of that nature. What people don't understand or didn't know about Frank Zuccarelli, he worked through his people. That's how he was able to stay in office for so long. That's the problem I'm having now. No one wants to work together. Everybody wants to be the dictator to Tiffany Henyard. And I'm saying no. I want people to do the same like y'all did with Frank Zuccarelli. We all worked together. When Frank had a judge, attorney that wanted to run for judge, things of that nature, he went to every single town, which is 17 cities he compassed, and he had those mayors, those elected officials. They went out and got the signatures for his slates. That's how this game worked. He didn't go do it, but he had the resources and the connections to make it work.
So what she's identifying is the strength and power of relationships, but as two Black women that are on the most powerful Black-owned radio station in the country,
Amen.
We ain't white, and that ain't right,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
And ultimately, that privilege that you saw, the trickle-down effect just hasn't reached you and probably will not touch you as a Black woman in power.
Correct.
And that's been an ugly reality. And I am going to identify that for you, because you would be remiss as you read and see, and eventually I just stop in terms of, damn, Dalton ain't that important. Why this seat and why now? Right. So as we build up to the rise of Tiffany Henyard, Tiffany from the block, aka Good Burger, you dust yourself off, you tried again, you ran, and then you were seated.
Correct.
Okay. So you had to get out there and get your teeth cut, right? And you served as a trustee for how long?
8 years. I did 2 terms.
So 2 terms under the leadership of then Mayor Riley Roger.
Correct.
Right. So was Roger done, or you just decided that you were done?
Well,
and you wanted something new. Which way?
I had to make sure I unseated him, and I ran for the seat because he kept trying to recall me. It's not my first recall.
Oh,
story.
Really?
He tried to recall myself, Stan Brown, and Robert Hunt, and they lost. Frank Zuccarelli was involved as well as relates to, we had a lawyer, we defeated that, and we still kept our seats. But they always tried to recall us, no matter what. When people can't control you, they try to remove you from office. That's how this game goes.
Because recall is an X factor here in Chicago.
Correct.
There is a state rep that is pushing that agenda. He's done so even when he was on the ballot for mayor, but they were rebuking in the name of Jesus in Chicago. But recall is also powerful, but it's abusive.
Correct.
And I did not know that this was not your first rodeo.
No, ma'am.
So you were recalled, or attempted to be recalled once or twice?
2 times. So once as a trustee, and once
I know
as
that.
mayor.
Right, I know that as mayor,
Okay.
but once beforehand.
Correct.
So is that the same time that you decided to run against him for mayor, or did you run in the next term?
I ran in the next term.
Okay.
Because he tried to put term
So he
limits on
pulled
us.
that trigger.
Yes.
And then you clapped back.
I did.
That's the translation.
And he
y'all.
lost his seat.
And he
That's
lost
why
his
I
seat.
watch what you go for, because if it's good for me, it's good for you. And the people elected me by landslide. 82% I won in 2021, becoming the
I was
first
gonna
female.
get to that. So this woman know her stats, y'all. So in other words, what's good for the goose is it good for the gander?
Yeah.
And as I think what makes us very interesting as millennials is that we learn real quick. And then when we learn, you can't unlearn what you know.
Correct.
Right? Because you were in the thick of this fight. And I want to talk about Dalton because, there's been some painful moments, right? I think you've had some growing pains yourself as a leader.
Correct.
And I want to give you that opportunity to have that humility and grace, because nobody's perfect.
Correct.
Right. And I'm going to talk about a few things, but I do want to preface that there are some things, because of just the legalities and the nature of things that I won't get in the weeds of the details because everybody was hitting, well, ask about this. And Let me tell you something. What happened in Vegas, did it happen in Vegas? And if it did, that's for a jury to deliberate. But there are moments of leadership where I bet if she was to take that trip again, ain't none of y'all going. Everybody stay at home. And that's how we going to do this. And I'm going to come back and tell you the message. So when we come back, we are talking to the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, supervisor of Thornton Township, mayor of Dalton, who's going to dive into the growing pains, because I think every leader, if they have not grown, then they're not a leader. And when you look back over it, would you have done certain things differently? Stay with us. We'll be back.
You're listening to Cleopatra Draper. We're the talk of Chicago. WVON.
January 20th, I'll be there live from noon until 3. Thanks to our friend
in studio with the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, and we are building up to the momentum of these headlines. Like, I got to talk about this because I think that has what has driven this hate campaign. Not to mention, you know, let's be clear, as an elected, I'm sure you've experienced meeting folks that just don't like you.
Yes.
No matter what you've done, what you've given, what you've experienced, what you've said, what they can't forget, what they can't forgive, they don't like you. But these headlines don't make it better. Correct. So I'm going to read a few of them. America's worst mayor, facing evictions, not paying rent, your charity, the conflicts of interest, your relationship, you know, the deficit in Thornton, the cars being repossessed in Dalton. I mean, hit after hit after hit, to the point where not only do people want to know, who is this girl? Where is Dalton? What's up with Thornton? What they gonna do about it? I mean, it gets lost in a translation. What do you say to these headlines?
Well, all lies. I think that someone bigger is behind it all, paying for all the negative media, because every time I send in a clip or get them facts or give them proof or get them documentation, they don't even put it up. And then I have to create my own platform and put it up on there to show people the truth. And that's where my base come from. When I do speak truth, I show them evidence, and then we go from there. But it's sad and heartbreaking because how people talk about people's personal life. What I got to do with where I sit, government. I'm in government, not personal. And then it's all lies. Like I go to one. They said I'm being evicted, right? I don't rent from her. But yet, that's the story everybody put. I'm not her tenant. I'm not on no lease. But yet, y'all keep putting that out there.
So why would somebody do that? Because I wanted to save this question personally, and she looking me dead in the eyes, y'all. So I want to be clear of how intimate this exclusive is. Why would somebody go that far to besmudge you and you're not their tenant?
Because that she's paid. Everyone's paid. Everyone's behind everything. And it will be exposed. So people be wanting me to talk premature, right? So, of course, you know what lawyers tell you. Now, I don't talk about this. Don't focus on that. I only gave you a little bit of it, but that's the truth.
Understand.
And that's why I'm okay with saying it. Even though the lawyer give me later for it, he'll deal with it. But it's just a problem because why? You guys can't beat me that you got to go that far? That's beyond reason. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, if you're going to fight me at the polls. Bring the people out, but you got to make the people not like me and do character assassination. I'm not with that because I put in the work. I paid my dues. When I say paid my dues, I mean did the work. My work speaks for itself, and no one can outwork me or outbeat me. So the only way they can try to beat me is by telling the people I did this, I'm doing that. Come on now, really? No, all false, all negative. And that's why you see me in the public. Think about it. People really guilty or really bad. What they do? Run. You don't see them no more. They out of the headlines, right? They don't go to meetings. They not in the public. They not indoors.
You know, folks were saying, well, good luck. I don't think she gonna come. She gonna stand you up. I said, you know, she not running. You know, and I received that about you. And it's a build up to, you know, the charity, right? The this, the that, and it's been dissolved since then, correct? Your charity? Is it dissolved?
I personally don't even have a charity. Okay. Never did. But I get tired of everything because some people name something after me. Okay. But what does it have to do with me? Think about it. That's so minute. It's bigger than that. My mom had breast cancer. Like, I don't play with stuff like that. When I was a trustee, people really go back and do the history. and research, because people don't research no more. They just, you say something bad about me, they just play it. And then I got to dispel what you said. That don't make no sense to me. And that's why I call it fake news. So my mom had cancer, and then in 2013, I did a cancer walk every single year. Didn't miss a beat. But they ain't talking about that though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want people to talk about facts and not fiction.
And I want to talk about facts, right? Like, so ultimately, we know where you stand and rooted in the charity. And then when we talk about just, like the headlines, undeniably, this Vegas trip has overshadowed a lot of your administration and your ability to lead. And some of the accusations are horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is tied to your leadership. What do you have to say in regards to the desire for folks to know more about what had happened in Vegas, right? What do you say to that?
I say people should give people the opportunity to be heard and not just judge off of one-sided narratives. I think that in due time, everybody will speak to whatever their part is. Everybody got to understand, just because somebody not speaking don't mean they're guilty or something wrong. Like I just told you, when you get legal counsel, they tell you you cannot talk about certain things. Like, for instance, we're still in court.
Mm-hmm.
People are suing for money. So that's your answer.
Okay. You all heard it here. And last but not least, as we continue to magnify the constant narrative that's up against you, why not stand down? Why run again for re-election?
Because the people put me in there and the people going to keep me in. That's it. That's all. At the end of the day, throughout all the controversy and all the mess, I still produce for my community. I still continue to do the work. With all the hate and people call me out my name and being disrespectful, coming to my mom's house, coming to my house, I still show up. Everybody tell me I would have ran. I would have quit. I would not still be in this, Tiffany. But yet here I am. Somebody got to do it. And unfortunately, God chose me to lead the people. And that's what I'm going to do. I follow his steps, nobody else's. Because at the end of the day, it's just me and him. Nobody else.
And that's fair. I receive that. And when we talk about, us learning that this is not your first rodeo under that recall, my response to people when I do utter your name is it goes back to the recall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say to folks, and I said this to you, and we talked about this, if you all didn't like it, why didn't you do something about it, right? Not only did you send her back, she's there. Yes. Right. So for those that are organizing against you, we're going to talk about that on the other side, because there's an internal conflict, right? And the opposition that was born under your administration since your inception, because House is no stranger to you, and nor are you him. But ultimately, you are rooted in the work. And you said until the people say it's finished, it is so. Is that what you're saying?
Amen.
All right. Well, we receive it. You are listening to the Superman. She's given us an exclusive right here, a heart-to-heart conversation about some real pressing negative headlines. I've yet to see a positive one, but we're going to create that here at WVON, just with her speaking her truth. I think that's important for us to discuss, because when we come back, there's been some things said, right? And I think when I look at some of the missteps, I think it's been in moments of heated opportunities that I want you to talk to about things that you would have done differently, because you're human. So stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
Is back online in the U.S. after a 16-hour outage from
like the one for Donald Trump. The inauguration ceremony has to be moved indoors due to D.C.'s dangerously cold temperature.
Cleopatra Draper live in the studio is none other than the Superman. And she woke up flawless. Because if she ain't gonna say it, she feel that way.
Amen.
If you know her and you follow her, you know what time that energy is.
Yes.
And I wanted to play that clip because as women, there is not a moment in any of those statements that we can't identify to in terms of what little girls are expected of is almost equivalent to what men expect of women, especially women in leadership.
Yes.
Right. And you've talked time and time again about fighting the good old boy club.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us, because she ain't know. I do my homework. You gonna learn today. Besides the headlines, you gotta know what's fact.
Yes.
What is the good old boy club in your world?
In my world, it is made up of all men, unfortunately. We, as women, are not welcome in their circle. So they oust us, and then they start attacking us. The same attacks you see happening to me is happening to Anyota in Calumet City, Monet in Calumet City. It's attack on women. Nobody wants a woman to lead in any area, and I have a problem with that. I don't like chauvinist men that just tell us this is what we got to do when we can go toe to toe with whatever position we choose to accomplish at that time, but nobody wants to see us in it. So I have been going against that status quo for quite some time, because you got to understand, all my cities are ran by men, except one, that's Lansing and myself. But all 17 cities, majority men, and most men are really upset that I have 2 positions when most of them have 2 positions or 3 positions.
Correct.
And the news not talking about that. It's just that I, meaning the woman, cannot have 2 positions. And I think I've done a damn good job of keeping both positions on the right track. And that's what they don't talk about. All my accolades that I've done in both communities, all the surpluses that I have, they don't talk about any of those things. And that's the stuff that I really want people to hear.
So surplus is where it's at. So let's talk about that, because when you inherited Thornton Township, it was a deficit.
Yes, $4.6 million.
Oh, she said that with her chest, y'all. And where are we now in that surplus?
We had $9 million surplus.
Under your leadership?
Under my leadership.
I haven't seen that headline.
Yeah, you're not. And that's what I'm saying, because they got to make me look bad. They don't say none of this. We gave them all the evidence. We gave them all the audits. They can go on Cook County website. The rest of them go look it up. These are facts. These are things that has been checked and is true. Even without grants and things of that nature, I still have a surplus.
Village of Dalton, there's a deficit.
Correct.
You've talked about that openly in the meeting. Where did that deficit come from?
So, we owe the city of Chicago like $13 million or so when I first got in office. So why do people think that just disappeared? Where did that go?
And what was the deficit for? I'm assuming water.
Yeah, water. City of Chicago.
Yeah, because Harvey underwater too, right?
Yes.
I ain't gonna talk. Mayor Clark, don't you call me? But listen, the water services for our surrounding townships, it does come at a price. And what way did you contribute to the deficit is where people, I think, get things entangled because of the headlines, right?
Correct.
So of that, in what ways were there mismanagement under your leadership when it came to eating at that bill, if any?
So there was no mismanagement. I know everybody want a person to blame. If you're going to blame someone, then you blame the board, the trustees. Because what people don't understand is how leadership in government works. I am the executive branch. I'm the head. They are the legislative branch. The legislative branch is over the money. So if they over the money, why everybody keep saying Tiffany did it? Tiffany didn't do shit. And I'm sorry for cussing on your show, because I'm just pissed off at everybody want me to be the fall person, the person behind that thing. The person, Jason is corrupt as they come. But no one's pointing none of that out because he's a man. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of taking the blame for all their mismanagement, all their negativity, all their hate, all their theft. And that's what y'all gonna hear me talk to coming up. Because everybody wanna go get all these people. Like, y'all need to come get Larry Lightfoot from over my city. Y'all need to bring her back over here. Y'all going to get people that's under investigation that y'all had a problem with to come after me. Like,
so
stop.
Pause. You are unearthing some real. So, let's go back to the fundamentals of how government works, because this is what we talk about when we're referring to civics, of how you all function as a body. So as the executor or the president of the board, the body, as you're saying, the trustees are who legislate. They create the policies,
correct,
and the resolutions that are fed up to you based upon an agreement. And it's a 4-person board, right?
No, it's 6. It's 6, but majority is 4, and that's how they're running down.
That's what I'm right. So I'm doing my count, because if you got a board and you can't count, you ain't won. So I didn't jump the gun, right? So it's a 6-board body.
Yes.
Majority rules were 4. Right now, you're split, right? So in your current body, right? And we're going to talk about that because you have a special vote coming up in terms of making sure that they install somebody to help weigh the legislation so that you can get something done.
Right, but that's township.
That's
right?
township.
Dalton is what you're talking about now.
Right,
Yeah.
Dalton, right?
Mhm.
So that's township business. But Dalton, when we think about Dalton, just from a legislative standpoint, the cabal, right? So there's been some filibustering. I'm gonna use this political language. There's been some filibustering to prevent work from being done. And as we're
Correct.
talking about the deficit, you inherited a deficit on that side as well, which was
Correct.
13 million, the vast majority being watered to the city of Chicago. And then, I want to identify what roles did you play. And you're saying that it's a collective play, right? You can't get nothing done without your board.
You can't. Think
That's
about
any
it. Right?
mayor, any president. So I just want to talk about facts, guys, because I
Mhm.
see you all on the live line, 773-591-1690. But when we talk about moving the needle, you can't do that as just the mayor.
Correct. And I'm going to add to that. Right now, things that residents don't know, and they hearing it right here on your show, because I'm going to talk about this on my live. My board right now, the corrupt board that's trying to run against me now, have stopped me. I don't have a village attorney.
Correct.
I don't have a police chief.
Correct.
I don't have a fire chief, and I don't have a village administrator. All these things, or an assistant. As a mayor, all that come with my seat. Why don't I have those things, residents? If we don't talk about facts, let's talk about facts. So the people that's been running government for Dalton has been the board of trustees. We've always been in court because they sue for every little thing. We get tied up in court. You know how I go. Kick the can down the road. Okay, get them time to a response. And then now you month after month after month in court. But all these things I sued for. It's called a civil conspiracy with a little bum attorney. They always want some news play. That's who's they puppet master. So all these things are going on in my city. But I'm the only one fighting back. Just because there's majority against me don't mean I'm wrong. I'm the one right. Just like how y'all did Jesus Christ, right? He the only one been saving y'all life and y'all crucified that man. I'm going through the same thing.
So let's talk about that, because no pun intended. You claiming that you've been a piñata, right?
Yes.
Ain't no candy coming out, y'all. So stop beating on her. Listen, at the end of the day, the cabal is in, and you haven't been effective, which is probably was the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna assume the latter. The goal was to technically. You look ineffective, but you look real strong to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? You look like you're still holding it down,
Always.
despite the lack of people put in play. If you really cared about Dalton, you at least have people in play to make it effective. Whether they agree with your politics or what you have to say, there are some missing attributes to have the ship run afloat.
Correct.
Did I get that right?
You did.
Okay.
Down.
So, ultimately, again, I ask you, why not quit? At this point, have they not done enough to break you?
No, they'll never break me. You can't break my soul. Never. We gonna fight to the very end, period. Because I didn't come to play. I come to slay. And when I slay, I'm gonna expose all of them for their dirty deeds. That's the difference. I'm outspoken. They want me to shut up. I will not. Because at the end of the day, somebody got to tell it. Somebody got to show it. But the people got to want it. The people can't get caught up in this clickbait, drama, reality show, whatever they trying to create, because they create the fire and point the finger. That's what they're doing. But it's them with a hen in a cookie jar. And I'm exposing it. And everybody got a problem with it. Even the lawyer, all of them. They all involved. The civil conspiracy lawsuit I put out, it got all of them in there. The lawyer's number one because they funnel all the money to him. Think about it. I don't have no lawyers, but y'all still want to pay y'all lawyer. I'm the one that appoints. Anybody understand government? The mayor is the one that appoints the attorneys. But yet that attorney going to sign up on all our cases. I didn't give that to him. We was in court and we had to make him get off a case through the judge. The judge say, hold on, Oderson, you're not appointed by the mayor. You and removed him off the case. But this is what I'm dealing with. But no one's telling that.
And we're going to talk about it because I found it interesting. So listen, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We talk about Bert Oderson, right? He was in the documentary that we were talking about between the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was a documentary created about this young woman that she's not even a part of. Where they do that at? Only on NBC.
Yep.
But listen, guys, when you talk about that attorney, he's not just a attorney.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around just as long as your predecessor. So when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, also known as the mayor of Dalton. And the phone lines are open. So I see like you are now, unrehearsed and uncoerced, Tiffany, right?
That's right.
And, some of the accusations, I done went down in the weeds of, I'm not asking you the hardball questions. What other hardball question is why you won't quit, bro? Like, I mean, I came out the gate just asking, like, out of all of this, why not walk away? Like, what other, between the accusation. So I want us to understand, I created a formula. That's the nerd in me. I can't help it. I created a formula because this is what we want. When we dive into sensational journalism, we've made a decision. Either you for or against, or bottom line, she done stole something. They ain't writing all of this just cause you did something. And if I was to examine anything you did, is the accusation of you being Tiffany from the block, was that so repulsive? Because they liked it in 2013. Right? They liked it in 2017.
Correct.
But one thing that we know, because this is what I was going to walk us into, is some of the regrets, is that everybody don't like it the same way all the time.
Correct.
And at some point, you lost people. And you wouldn't be seeking re-election if you wasn't trying to find them again. Some of them are permanently gone. So what about the evolution of Tiffany are people subscribing to? Because controversial, embattled, whatever verbiage we want to use, you ain't went away. So I don't know, Anna, what other harder questions is there to ask somebody to stand in humility and tell the WVON listening audience where you went wrong, because everybody, and I want to be clear, falls short of the glory. And if somewhere you lost people, where did you lose them, and how are you going to find them again?
So by telling my truth, this is step one. Coming out, speaking out, talking about it publicly, because a lot of time people don't really hear me talk about things publicly. As a leader, we can't dive into every he say, she say comment or question. And majority of the time, I answer their questions. They may not be following me, but then they come to a different venue. I may ask the same question I answered a month ago or 2 days ago. So I can't get caught in that because I still got to focus on my vision, my goals for my city and my township, and also grow. And then be a mom and be a girlfriend. Like, all these things matter. But people tend to forget we're human. People gonna make mistakes. People might not do it your way, but it's their way. It's their story. You let them walk their path, but you want us to walk your way. We put our shoes on the same way, but we might tie our shoe different, but we get to the same goal, but it's your way. So let me be creative in my moment, in my government, and I bring a different what I want to say, but bias to it. I might dance, I might sing, but I'm relatable, and that's what they don't like. I'm relatable to the youth. I am having kids state they want to be a mayor. Matter of fact, they want to be a super mayor. Kids that never thought of government or knew what it was. I used to go into the schools and speak to every kid, especially about their mental health. I did a mental health tour throughout Thornton Township, and we used to jump from every school. We talked to the kids. I took D-Lo with me. He sang with them, and we got a lot of people that opened up and got help from Thornton Township. But they don't talk about that. They don't talk about that side of Tiffany, the caring side, the nurturing side, the mom side, the one that want to see kids do better, be better, and the ones that want to give the resources to make sure you got food on the table. Eggs, $8 now. Who can afford that? We got a whole food pantry. Why don't we have food today in the pantry? Because people playing politics with government. People not coming to board meetings. People miss over 8, now 10 board meetings. Why? But we ain't talking about they should lose your seat, let alone get paid. You're not doing the job you got elected to do. When you neglect the people, it's time to go. You should no longer be there.
About that. So, because you highlighting some facts. Now, there has been a debacle in your administration, to say the least, yes. Right? As to why people not showing up, whether it's based off your leadership, you didn't elect them, the people did to represent them. Right. And if that is their protest, it still is ineffective and it impacts and hurts the people. So that is the equation, and that's undeniable. But what I want to get to, for those that are really trying to connect with you, is where did you fall short? Tiffany from the block rose to become trustee, then mayor of Dalton, then the evolution of supervisor, Thornton Township, ergo supermayor. All of that happened in less than 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But the evolution of you is where folks are questioning some of the decisions, right? Some of the allegations, whether it is your police department and the loss of the fleet, your desire and need for protection and security, some of which is valid because you've had credible threats, and some of the choices, right? Where did you fall short?
When I didn't do what people wanted me to do. When you get in power, people come up to you, whether it's them or they send people, and they want you to do certain things. And because I wouldn't, I became the target. You got to understand, it's a lot of things at stake as it relates to Thornton Township. They wanted contracts, they wanted jobs, they wanted all these things, but I came and I cleaned it up. That was the problem before me. It was the good old boys club. Frank didn't leave a black book. I don't know who's who, what's what. I couldn't tell you nothing. But what I do know is what's right. What I do know is how you clean up a deficit. What I do know is I'm really smart, but people want to play the role that I don't know. I'm in a position to do better and to grow the township and my village, but people won't allow me to because everybody want to dictate my every move. I ran to lead, not follow. I followed for 8 years. Now I'm in leadership role to make the decisions. Because guess what? If it's good, better, and different, I get the hit. The dog walk across the street, it's Tiffany's fault. Somebody on the corner, it's Tiffany's fault. Come on, man. No matter what it is, you're blaming on the mayor, and that is not how it goes. It's people trying to run our government that's outside interference, and I have a problem with it.
Let me pause there because I am going to push back on that statement because that is what we've seen. That is how it goes. It is the mayor's fault. I'm in the city of Chicago with my black mayor and our body of council, and nobody's identifying, oh, well, that alderman or this group did. It is Brandon Johnson 24/7, 24/8. If it was an 8th day, it would be another day that is Mayor Johnson, as though he doesn't have 50 people that control. So yeah, Tiff, it is the mayor. But what would you say to folks that you are trying to not only court but push to reelect you? What do you say to them?
Close your mouth, open your ears. Because if you over talking, you'll never hear the other narrative. You gotta listen. That's why I do forums, whether it's conversation with the mayor, whether it's township talk. I do them forums to let people hear from me to their questions. And then I also ask questions, even when we're calling, right? And I'm courting you for a vote. I'm saying, hey, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard. I want to know, do I have your continued support in the upcoming election? And if you tell me, well, I'm undecided, then I say, well, why are you undecided? And then you tell me, well, I don't know right now. What you mean? You have me on the phone. Now you can ask me whatever you want because it's just you and I. It's not an audience. No one's telling you what to ask me. However you feel, you can ask me while you have me. And then some people don't say nothing. Some people say, well, I don't know right now. So either you know or you don't, or you got a question or you don't. But people are telling you things. They're vomiting in your ear about negativity, and that's the way you're feeling about a person. And then I also rephrase and I say, how would you feel if I just came to your door and I say, well, they said that you're a thief. I don't know you from Adam, but this was I heard on the street, but I don't know. I never gave you a chance to explain. I never gave you a chance to talk to me or educate me on your side. I just ouched you. It's like, it's sad because I'm seeing the world treat me as though a person is guilty. And I thought it was innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not getting treated that way.
Well, you heard it here. And listen, guys, she is open to have the dialogue. So Carl, James, Nate, Justin, I see you got a question. You'll have your time when we come back after this break.
I'm Candace McCollum.
Live in the studio is the Super Mayor, Tiffany Henyard. So listen, guys, I'm going to preface it as delicately as I can, but it's a reason why she doesn't sit down with anybody. So this exclusive is very personal, and we're going to be respectful because she wants to take your questions. And we're going to do this live. That's how you know she ain't running. And I'm going to go through the phone lines. and I want to hear from you. But if you get a little crazy, I will go boop real quick. So listen, guys, let's talk to Rashonda. Rashonda, welcome to WVON.
How are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
I just have a question because I hear that Tiffany is blaming the trustees, saying that the trustees is, stole the money or whatever. But if it's the trustees' fault, why are the FBI investigating her and her team and not the trustees? Also, she tries to, put Jason House down when Jason House have showed her nothing but respect and grace, even when she doesn't even deserve it. One more thing.
Just one question, Rashonda. Thank you. So answer that.
So what people need to understand about the FBI, everybody's getting investigated. Everybody. So they can assume what they want, but everybody.
And when you say everybody, are you referring to the current board or?
Yes.
All right, guys, she responded. And when it comes to House, I did want to respond because ultimately, there's some rules with the FCC. So eventually, at some point in time, the House and his crew can come, but the Superman's in the studio. So it's not to allow any besmudging, but she is giving her opinion about it. So I just wanted to contextualize that, but hopefully you all received her answer. Let's talk to Kat. Kat, welcome to WVON.
Good morning and happy MLK Day, Cleopatra.
Oh, same to you. Isn't it a beautiful day?
And I am so glad for your newly appointed position. I praise God for that, and I thank God for you.
Thank you. I received that.
I don't think I have any questions for Tiffany. I just have comments. I have comments based upon my observation and what I see of Tiffany. I'm a 40-year resident of Dalton. And first of all, I do have a question for Tiffany first before I give my comments. Tiffany, what makes you think you can say to the residents, bitch better have my money?
Well, we're not going to curse on the air, Pat, so I want you to be mindful. So let's respond to that because, and the controversy of Superman, like I said, she's no angel, right? You okay with me saying that? You know angel.
No one is.
But in those statements, whether it's the one from the other day when somebody said something to you, you told them they were stupid. And it's not to laugh, but that's how you felt in that moment, I presume.
And I meant that. I'm standing on that.
You're standing on that. Yep. I heard you say that too. Is what Pat referencing any validity to it?
No, it's all fake. And that's what I'm talking about. People got to go back and research the clip. We played a song, and of course it was Rihanna. And the news took it and ran with it. I didn't verbally say that. Why would I say that?
Oh, so Pat heard the song.
Correct.
And then
the news played and it said, the mayor saying what she just said. And I never said any of that. They played the song because basically they weren't paying the vendors. And the vendors were saying, where my money at? Okay. And we used the song to reference how they was feeling is what it was. And that's all it was.
And in that moment, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, there are some folks, like right now, I can say I'm your favorite millennial, right? And there are some folks, oh, no, don't put too much emphasis on that. You don't want them to challenge your intellect and remind you that you're young. But I am. And in that moment of leadership, would you have to play a different song had you knew it was going to catapult? Yeah. What is the answer?
Of course I would have. So, of course, we have our moments where we could have did something better or changed it or changed the value or the tone. Yeah, of course. But guess what? It's called growing pains. You're going to go through it, but you're going to grow through it. People can sit there and hold you hostage of what they perceive as a mistake or something you shouldn't have done. Everybody goes through mistakes or things that should have done differently. It's called growth.
And that's what I want to magnify, because when I ask you moments where you fell short of the glory, this is one of them, because it's stuck with a resident, a long-term resident, right? That shows, see, that's why we don't put young people in office, and see how, whether it's immature or this your response to us, that's appropriate, and they run with it, right? And then when you come back stronger, they never let that go. Is that what you're asking for? If you can ask for forgiveness of moments where you fell short. For me, here's a growing pain for me in my observation of you, that I laughed for about 6 months until somebody finally told me, that's inappropriate. That wasn't cool. And I said, well, why not? And I'm showing a moment where I was immature too. And Nino Brown.
Yeah.
When you came out with the dog.
Yeah.
And I mean, you had New Jack City to the T. And you sent the message. And then when I think about it, I said, well, damn, not maybe. That wasn't the venue. This is my observation. That wasn't the venue.
Mm-hmm.
That was a sticking point. That did hit a little different. And now, even though it is funny, it wasn't funny. It wasn't appropriate. What do you say to my critique?
To your critique, I think it was hilarious.
I agree.
I think that people took it the wrong way. Number one, I'm a fan of Martin. Everybody say Nino Brown, which you do research. It was mimicking that, but I mimicked Martin because I even did a spoof on my TikTok, I think, or one of them things, and I posted it up and I replayed Martin whole scene. And I do things like that to engage the youth, which it worked. Now, I did it before my board meeting. I didn't do it. I wasn't in session. We didn't call the roll. We didn't do none of that. I came in the building and I just did like a little skit.
So it wasn't formal. So
again, if you go watch it.
Moments of I have, but you're contextualizing it, which is why I think you do need opportunities to give in detail in the mind of Tiffany Henyard. And I think I remember that episode. You talking about when it was on Neighborhood Watch, right?
Yeah.
Right. And he had the dog. But the point is, you're personable, right? You're innovative and you're creative. And is your timing off? Maybe.
I don't think it was. I just think the media took it and ran with it. If the media didn't take it, it wouldn't be as big as it is today. The media made it what it is. And I do say that's what they got. They got the national attention. And people tend to believe fake news, unfortunately. And they know they are buying clicks and views too. They got to sell news. So they cut it and chop it up like they did with the Rihanna song to make it look worse than what it is. And it wasn't that. I even did Forrest Gump. Why they ain't getting no traction? I do all kinds of things, but I do it to engage community and also mainly the youth. And it actually works.
All right. So let's talk to James.
Go ahead.
James, welcome to WVON. James. We're going to put James back on hold. Let's talk to Nate. Nate, welcome to WVON.
Hey, how you doing? Happy Martin Luther King Day.
I know, right? Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Hey, so Tiffany stated that Frank didn't leave her a blue book, and she didn't know what to do. She didn't know, who to call on, but she ended up terminating everybody that knew exactly how the township operated in the appointed seat that she was appointed in. I just want to ask why she got rid of the blue book, the employees that knew how the township functioned in every department. Not every department, but administration, myself, after working there 14 years.
So you were an employee.
Absolutely.
And what was your role?
I was the media specialist. I managed our social media platforms. I did the video photography work. I managed our website.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty much all of that good stuff.
So we get into them personal tea leaves. Thank you so much, Nate. She's going to answer your question.
First of all, people terminate themselves. I didn't terminate anyone. If you're not doing your job, you don't have a job. It's just that way. People can get mad at the leader all they want. So that's what my answer is today.
All right. Well, listen, guys. Justin, Dylan, Eddie, Lynette, LaDonna, Art, Lena. All I ask is when you all call, refrain from anything other than the King's English. And then let's be respectful and let's be swift. Whatever your question is, Superar is willing to answer it on the other side. We'll be back after this break.
You're listening to Cleopatra Draper.
The Superar, Tiffany Henyard. And I want to talk to Lynette. Lynette, welcome to WVON.
Hello?
Hey, you're on live.
Oh, okay. It's Loretta.
Oh, forgive me. Yes, ma'am.
The reason I'm calling is because I just went through something. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to make a big issue out of this because a lie can destroy your character. And not only that, it can put you in financial deficit. My granddaughter put an order of protection on me and his girlfriend, and I was not able to see my son. And what I'm hearing from the mayor is that a lot of things could be lies that are out here, and there's nothing to protect you. And what happens is that your character is destroyed. You have to get lawyers, and it costs you, I don't know how much money for the lawyers. And if she's telling the truth, something has to be done. And I'd like to get with her so we can do something about this, because a person can just come in and put an order of protection on you or can lie on you. And you can't, you have to spend money to correct it. And I can't even tell you the tears that I've shared and the lies that have been told and how it has affected me and my family.
Well, I thank you so much. I really do. And the mayor receives that. And actually, we were just talking about this in terms of bottom line is you a whole lot of things. You're a personality, you're confident, you're a lot of things. You know, Angel, but you are who you are. And you recognize that bottom line is that there are moments where you could have did things differently. You don't never get to speak to that. Correct. Right? In between the show, I'm just going to forecast it because I know some of you all are going to call in about it's not a trip to Vegas. It was an economic development conference, right?
Correct.
That your entire board went to.
Yeah.
Right. But the foci is always you. Right. And I say that because the foci, you're the head honcho. Right. So that's undeniable. But the actions of what people did and didn't do and so on and so forth, you held accountable for that, too. And that's where you draw the line. Right. So to hear her impede upon her story of protecting her character and just the financial strife it's caused her as just a woman, I can only imagine the endless strife that continues to bombard you. Right. So I think that I want you to receive that because she's connecting with you on another level that ain't got nothing to do with the devil in the details of what you think people hear. People just seeing your story. So let's talk to Justin. Justin, what say you? Welcome to WVON.
Yes, good morning and happy MLK Day.
Same to you.
The man goes on to say about wanting to be a role model to our young people. But I'm wanting to know her sleeping with a married man, is that a role model?
So is that your fact or is that an allegation that you're spewing? Which is it, Justin?
It's a fact.
Thank you so much for that call. You don't have to respond to that if you don't want to. So let's talk. Do you want to?
Oh, you want me to? Okay, this is where people get it twisted at, right? Everybody's so engulfed in my life that they don't even know what's going on. Just like anybody else, if they go through a divorce, that means they can't date nobody. So people need to stop with the mess. If somebody still attached somebody and somebody won't let them go, how you feel that person can't still live their life? So people need to stop using words of because somebody's married or whatever. I've been with Kamal for 4 years. 4 years we've been together. He's been going through a divorce for 4 years. And anybody that's fighting a divorce or going through things that you're fighting with your ex, y'all know what I'm talking about. So people need to stop worrying about my personal life and judge me on government. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for you to talk about my personal life, because when we go home, when we talk to each other, guess what? It's me and him. It's nobody else's business. But yet everybody want to be in our business. I have a problem with that.
Do you think it's because you're a woman?
I do. Because if a man did it, y'all won't have a problem with it.
Y'all heard it here. Let's talk to Lena. Lena, welcome to WVON.
Hey, welcome. How y'all doing today?
We're good. Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah, I would like to say I am a Dalton resident. I'm a long-time Dalton resident. Miss Mayor, I am not a senior citizen, and I am not a youth. And I would like for you to, at some point, acknowledge those of us that are in between. We are people, too. And I heard her ask you, where's the turnaround for you? What do you think you fall short at, and how are you willing to fix things going forward? And I don't think you answered that. Now I'm going to ask you a question. I was one of those people that got denied for this homeowners grant that you said everybody qualified for to get new windows, they driveways fixed, and things of that nature. And then a day later, it turned around to be a senior veteran thing only. Miss Tiffany, if you allowed to move forward, how you going to include us in the middle that's just like you, that's 40 years old too? What you going to do?
One thing about Elena, that is a superb question. Thank you so much for that call, because it's real. Let's answer, Superman.
So basically, with the grant, we made it for seniors and veterans first because they are on fixed incomes and they the ones who are struggling. I'm not saying the most, but really the most because they don't have money to fix something major
They don't
like
have other disposable income.
Correct. So that's what it was for. Now, the second grant that I pushed out, and of course the board controls the purse and stopped it, is to fix driveways, security doors, things of that nature. And that was for anybody. So when she say denied, no one denied anybody like that.
It hasn't moved forward.
It has not.
And when let me magnify what the super mayor is saying. When she said control the purse, that's a political verbiage. She's talking about maintaining the fiscal budget and access to it, right? So, Lena, in other words, don't sit tight. Hold her accountable. And I'm saying this, well, she looking me dead in my eyes with these big eyes of hers, because she's right. We are sandwiched in between, right? And often, Lena, I feel you, like most things is for the elderly and then the youth, and then the rest of us, we just own our own. It's not just a Dalton thing, and I'm not defending or negating, but to hold her accountable is to come up with something creative and innovative to capture the in-between. Are you willing to do that, Superman?
Of course I am, because think about it. I am a trendsetter. So everything I have produced, every town has mimicked. So if I wasn't doing something right, why are you mimicking my formula? So other people don't make them first, but I did in my community. Then when the board saw I was getting so much traction on helping everybody, they start to destroy. And that's
what she's referring to is name ID, guys. So in other words, you can try, you can duplicate it, but you can't run that. Okay. Right. So listen, do you have time to stay with us through the rest of these calls? Because they're going to get big mad at me if you leave and you got like 4 more people. You got a few.
I can do one more.
Okay.
You said 10:30.
So yeah. So when we come back, I got to take a break. Jennifer, Dylan, Eddie, she may not be able to stay through the whole you did, but Art, we see you on the live line. The super mayor has been so gracious with her time. We thank her. So stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
I'm Candace McCollum, and here are your news headlines. Today, WVON and the DuSable Museum are celebrating MLK Jr.
And legacy of
prayer.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. Woo, and I'm feeling good.
Hey, I'm Cleopatra Draper, the new host of The Midday Show. I'm homegrown, Chicago born and raised, a Kenwood Academy Bronco, and a proud woman of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, a graduate of Eastern Illinois University, and I went onward to earn my master's in social work from UIC's Jane Addams College of Social Work. What brings me joy? Well, my 2 baby boys, husband, 2 doggies, my extended family, line dancing, and a home-cooked meal made with love. My goal for the midday show is to bring the highest energy, keep you engaged, laughing, and inspired. I want you to leave the show feeling like you learned something new and empowered to take on the world in that order. All right, everybody, let's roll.
And we are back. The time is 11:09. You are listening to the Midday Show, and I am the host, Cleopatra Draper, live in the studio. She hanging tight, y'all. So for everybody that thinks she running, she only running to come knock your door near you. If you live in Dalton, 8-mile radius. I got the super mayor, Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, also known as the Mayor of Dalton. And we have been building up to a point where, you know, when folks are saying, where them hard questions at? It's nothing like facing the reality that you are seeking re-election.
I am.
And I think I've accepted from you that you are prepared to win or lose, but you're going to have to duke it out at the ballot box, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to win. Hands down. Landslide.
Now, see, that confidence is some contagion, right? Now, if she falls short, then she going to eat crow. You know, it's only one way to do this. Either you win or you lose. Ain't no in between. And I know you know that in your tenure in your career.
Correct.
And, you know, with the calls that we've taken thus far, I definitely see LaDonna Ray on the live line. So let's talk to LaDonna. Welcome to WVON.
Yes, good morning. And good morning, Cleopatra Draper. Congratulations, of course,
Mayor Tiffany Henyard, I want to say that with respect, okay? Mayor Tiffany Henyard, I'm in your township, and I see your passion. I see your passion for our community. It's undeniable. It could use a little bit of polishing. I think that people take it the wrong way, as you can see. But who has offered to assist you? Everyone's ready to crucify. But like, who has offered to come out and help you? Like, I'm offering to come out and help you in any way you need, because there's so much good that can come from you being the mayor and the superintendent versus not being in that seat. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to lend you whatever you need. And I think that everyone is waiting for the crucifixions of the questions and bring out the dirt. And it's so unfortunate, because divided we fall and united we stand. We totally need someone with your passion. That can't be taught. With your heart, that can't be given.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So that is true, right? Her energy is unmatched. You drank coffee today?
No.
So this is real.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, so this is real. And it's a natural fit. Now, how do you synergize and channel that for those that care about Dalton, as opposed to throw away the baby with the bathwater, right? So you got some infighting going on. That's noted. But yet and still, you ain't backing down.
Correct.
Right? And at the end of the day, it's up to the people to say yay or nay. And when folks did say nay to the recall, what did you say then?
I thanked them. I went door to door. I spoke to everybody, and I appreciate them for allowing me to continue what they started. They elected me. There's no way I should have been in a recall. I just got in office, and every single judge told them that. But yet they went to every level, circuit court, appellate court, Supreme Court. Every one of them told them, no, we're not recalling Tiffany Henyard. And I did not get recalled. So I was able to keep my seat, because remember, we just got in office, not 2 weeks in. My board was already bought before I even got settled. I didn't know what a light switches was or what nothing was in Village Hall to start the infighting. It was ridiculous. So after that, then they removed me off a bank account, which was illegal, unconstitutional. I had to fight that for about a year in court. They put Jason and Allison, they walked into a bank branch, put Jason on a bank account, and removed the mayor of the town off the bank. Where's millions of dollars? That's why I said people don't know half the story. They just know what the news feed them, but you need to go chase the facts. And in doing so, guess what? I went on account for a whole year. So again, you keep saying Tiffany over this, Tiffany over that. That's not true. I don't deal with money. I don't move money. None of that's true. But this is the false information that's out there. And that leads me to this with Lori. She came and did a report. My board hired her and wanted to pay her.
She's talking about, y'all, listen, she's talking about the former mayor of the city of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot.
That y'all fired, right? Y'all said, get out of here. And y'all said y'all want Brandon Johnson, right? Okay, so why is she in my town? Why is she in Little Dalton, that's 23,000 residents, fighting with me over whatever they think it is, right? The board hired her $400 an hour. That's what, $100 every 15 minutes to pay her and her staff, not just her and her staff, to come and do an investigation, right? If you got the feds there and all these people there, they trump everybody. So why are we paying money that y'all claim we don't have, number one, right? And then y'all bought her here for this political theater that you see going on, and then she give y'all a report. She give you a report with no substance. No information. She didn't itemize it. She didn't tell you what it is, but she wanted you to believe that I was the one spending or doing things. I'll give you a prime example. Amazon bill. They said they spent $40,000, right? And they alluded to, it's the mayor. It's Tiffany. Tiffany don't do nothing
in one day.
In one day. I don't do shit with credit cards. Nothing with credit cards. Nothing with money at all. It just bothers me because it's just the lies they tell and I start getting attacked, right? Off a lie. And like the lady said before, she's right. You get attacked and got to fight the lie. And you start to tell them, I didn't do it. It's not me.
So what do you say to the trolls? Because, I was going to wait and see if you brought it up, but even down to your wardrobe, right? This is what kills me. So it was one picture where folks found an outfit that they found on Amazon and alluded that because of the 40,000 in one day,
ridiculous.
You went shopping.
Ridiculous. And
you saying that you didn't have access to the credit card.
I don't. It tells you, like everybody got Amazon accounts, right? It tell you who bought the item, when they bought the item, what the item is. Why didn't she tell y'all that? But I'm going to tell you on this show today. on the show today. When I did my research, when I saw that fake report went out, that's why I don't trust nothing they say or people they bring in, because it's all geared to make one person look bad, to try to make them look good and cover up what they've been doing. And that's what I'm going to expose. On that one day, you know what they bought? Ice for the rink. Ice. That's what it was. I made Janice and Mike Smith, when I was trying to appoint him as my assistant and my VA and all that, I had them go do the research for me and tell me what those items were. And they came back, and that's what it said, ice. And the ice is for the rink, where you put the little pieces down and have ice so they can ice skate. That's what it was for. But yet they alluded to, I went shopping, I bought this, I did that. Not true. All fake.
So it was one purchase.
It was
and this ice skating rink, was it in the town?
It's for Dalton. It's Dalton.
Okay.
But they bought ice. That's what it was. That's what the money was for.
I read that nowhere, so you got that here.
Yeah. So I wanted to give you that little piece of information because I'm doing my report too. So when I put my facts out in my report of my own, because I'm going to get facts, they just give you a fake story just to make you look over here, but you should really be looking over here. It's just a distraction to make a person do something.
Jennifer, let's take your call real quick. Welcome to WVON.
Good morning. Good morning, Cleopatra, and happy MLK Day. I was listening to Tiffany when she said that the people fired themselves. My question to Tiffany is, why would she fire a sexual assault victim that was sexually assaulted, allegedly, by one of her her trustees in Dalton? He is yet working, but she fired the victim. My question to her is, why would she fire a victim and keep a predator on the payroll?
Now, Jennifer, before I let you go, I do want to, for those that are listening, I want to magnify alleged because he has not been found guilty, correct?
I said allegedly.
No, I know that, but when you said a sexual predator, you're still putting him as though he is, and he has not been found guilty yet, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, because I want to be mindful as a mother of two black boys, when we talk about this black man and this black woman and the word allegation, until he's found guilty, I won't allow us to call him a sexual predator until I see the results of the finding of the jury of his peers. And I think that's only fair. So I thank you for your call, and she's going to respond, but I needed to contextualize that.
So you should ask her, why is her husband stalking me? Why I'm in court with her husband stalking me at Hooters, come in the window, to the window, peeping Tom stuff. Like, this what I'm dealing with. You got all them haters on there. That's all haters. I can tell you every last one of them. That's why I say, so when I talk, I be want to talk
to is, right, let me break it down. Superar can see the names, right? And she's correlating some of the experiences. And I want you to answer, because we talked about this real briefly before we go to break. Andrew Holmes was in play before you got there, correct?
He was already a trustee.
That's what I mean.
He came in with Riley Rogers as a trustee.
Riley Rogers was the mayor when you were installed as a trustee.
Mm-hmm.
So he was already there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pressing question is clear. Why retain him and then you clip her? We could talk about that on the other side if you're able to. But at the end of the day, I want to contextualize. At times in America, we will pursue as though folks are guilty before they're proven innocent. And until that man is proven guilty, I want us to contextualize what allegedly means. And it's not to dismiss that young lady, I promise you, but it is to bring some equity to the space of what the seriousness of the nature is, and then how you are in the middle of it, per usual, Superman. So when we come back, she'll answer that. And then I got to let her go, y'all. She got to go to work. She got to go knock some doors. And she got to go try to earn support where she can, because she's not backing down. She said she ain't quitting. I asked a hard question. Y'all going to have to fire her when we come back.
You're listening to Cleopatra Draper. We're the talk of Chicago. WVON.
In 1972, Chicago was home to more than 1.2 million black people. They were poor, but free. To bring attention to their plight, Reverend Jesse Jackson and Operation Push created Black Expo, a 5-day festival that offered a stunning display of our challenges and our excellence. During MLK weekend, WVON and VON TV invite you to our special screening of the newly remastered film, Save the Children, a concert for the ages. The movie takes you to Chicago's amphitheater, where history was made. February
bragging, but she does have a resume, and that resume is delivering constituent services. That's undeniable, right? So the show between the show is based off facts, right? So I'm reading one of the deficits may be for surfaces, but when you haven't had trees pruned in 30 years, either you're going to do it or you're going to be out.
Right.
So one thing we know about any elected office, are you performing the roles and responsibilities of that office to sustain your seat? And the biggest thing in your domain and in your world is constituent services. Right. So, as we're calling in and, we're talking about some of the issues, I want us to understand a big cloud that hovers over the supermayor's head is the reign of gossip. It's some hot tea, but just because it came out the air don't mean that it's water. It might be pissing. You ain't even know it, and you just basking in it because they told you it was rain. And that's what I think in translation she's saying. Like, it's not even where you're getting it. Is it rooted? So even the previous calls, we're talking about the battles and the ups and downs of Andrew Holmes. He is yet to even be charged. Right. So it's not to negate the possibilities of what transpired. I'm not here to speak to that. As a woman, I acknowledge that whatever it is, let him be judged by a jury of his peers and let that young lady be made whole. Right. And whatever that looks like, how does it involve the supermayor? And the bottom line is, well, she led the trip to a economic business development conference that her entire body went to because the opportunities are endless that you can bring back resources to Dalton. So I think sometimes when I'm contextualizing what transpired and what's the big picture, it does drill down to a few things. Tiffany, you tell me if you agree. Personally, do you like me? Politically, do you respect me? And then from a campaign standpoint, do you support me? And some of them boxes are going to be skewed, right? You may like how I get things done, but you may not like how I do it. You may like what I'm doing, but you may not like what I say. And we see that from the top of the ticket, whether it was Kamala running to our governor, to the mayor of the city of Chicago, and then we see the super mayor. And a lot of people may not like your way of doing things. So when I did ask, if you fell short of the glory, how are you showing up different? What is your answer?
So my answer is basically being more, I want to say more accessible because I am more, how can I say it? They got more access to me than ever. Like, I want people to come more to conversation with the mayor, things of that nature, to talk about whatever their issues are, instead of allowing the media to tell them what our issues are in our town. I'm at your door. I'm on your phone. I'm on your radio waves. So you can always hear my point of view. But if you guys don't meet me in the middle, we'll never be able to unify. And that's my goal for my community. I want to heal my community. I want to apologize to my community for all the negativity that's going on, all the hurt behind the drama, which was brought by my board to my city, because I would never put a black eye on Dalton. I love Dalton too much for that. Everybody stays there that I love and care about. So why would I make it bad for them, or let alone my residents? So I just want people to understand that part from me. I'm hurt by all the people attacking me. It's a lot.
But what I took away from that is that you apologize to the city of Dalton. So for those that can hear, right, and feel, at the end of the day, you're going to make your decisions. And this is not to be pro or for or against you. It was to give you a platform to be heard, because some of the details, this tea you was spilling, we ain't going to read it nowhere. And you got it authentically from the Superman, right? So for all the calls that are coming in, we definitely appreciate it. I want to acknowledge your time.
Thank you.
And I want to welcome you to talk about your reelection. What does that look like for you? And
So
then where do
actually,
you take Dalton from here?
It's actually looking great. My numbers are up. That's why they continuing with the smear campaign, unfortunately. We door knock, talk to people every single day. I still have a lot of love and support in Dalton. And that's what people don't show. I think people should interview those that do love Supermayor, and not just all the hate that they spill on the internet and on the news. Pretty much the election is February 25th. That's the primary, and then early voting is February 10th through the 24th, and it's at South Suburban College and also Calumet City Library. I am number 1 on the board. Thank you. On the ballot, I'm number 1. So you punch 1 for Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard. I'm running Tanika Hughes for clerk. She's punch 4, and then my ticket is Jocelyn King, Vanessa West Coast, and Linda Terrell. They're at the bottom of the ballot for trustee. And I believe their numbers are 9, 10, 11, but they're at the very end.
Oh, so you done picked up the women.
Yeah, I got an all women's slate, all women's ticket.
So listen, so we're gonna have to have you back because as it thickens, I'm sure the plot will thicken.
Yeah.
But I see that you are uplifting women.
Yes.
And that's what we're gonna carry this conversation to, because as a Black woman being ousted from the boys club, I think you done created your own girls club.
I have to, because we got to pass the baton. It's too many times that people keep us on mute and we could be on their side, but we can't, behind them, but we can't be on the side. We can't lead with them.
Tell me how to keep up with you.
So you can follow me on Tiffany Henyard, Facebook, and also you can call us, but I don't get my number out.
There it is. There it is. Well, you got it, guys. You gonna come back to WVON?
Definitely.
Okay,
I'll be back.
Excellent. So you heard it here. You got to have an exclusive with the Super Mayor. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
Yeah. Thank you.